7 messages to text guys he'll love. So you want to know how to text a guy to keep him interested? Gone are the days when you'd only talk on the phone to a guy you were dating. Now texting has become the norm, both when getting to know someone new as well as once that relationship develops. This is both a good and a bad thing. On the one hand, you have time to think about what you want to say to the guy you're interested in. On the other hand, it's all too easy to misunderstand his text or worry if you don't hear back in a timely manner. Interestingly, a recent study shows that if you have similar texting habits, you're more likely to be satisfied in your relationship. So if you're a first thing in the morning texter or someone who writes novel-length texts, and he is too, you're likely to hit it off. One area that's especially important for texting is online dating. Most dating apps and sites include a messaging component that's essentially texting. This is how you initially discover whether you like one another or not. So if you're dabbling in the world of dating online, you'll want to take notes on how to text a guy to keep him interested. From the first introductory text to the one that gets you off of the app and texting directly to one another, knowing the ins and outs of texting can be hugely beneficial. At Love Me, we realized how important it is to teach people how to text properly, as we noticed lots of people simply doing it wrong. So stay with us till the end and maybe you'll manage to get a date with that crush you're dreaming about. Tips on texting. We'll start with some tips on how to text properly and we'll move on to some ideas for texts. Number 7. Let him do the work. You don't want to be doing all the heavy lifting yourself. Don't simply reward a guy that's not investing enough in the relation. Examples? If a guy texts, "Great meeting you," as a polite initiative, you reply back saying, "Great meeting you too. How's your Sunday going?" You text and you wait for a reply. Sunday passes, Monday passes, and on Tuesday he replies back saying, "Well, Tuesday's awesome. How's your week?" Now you might think he's being initiative and forget about him putting you on hold for 2 days and you text, "Awesome. Not much going on. Want to go out tomorrow at 7?" And again he puts you on hold until Friday, only to send a smiley face. Now obviously you screwed up here, but what exactly did you do wrong? Well, you invested when he clearly didn't. The moment he showed you a sign of boredom or lack of interest, you should have just pulled the plug. You don't have to do all the heavy lifting. Let him share the load with you. Number 6. Don't text too much or too little. Texts are not emails. They're designed to be brief. If you're getting long-winded in your text to him, consider switching to a phone call or FaceTime. Keeping text short also creates the opportunity for back-and-forth conversation. If you do have a lot to say, break it up into several lines to give him a chance to read and respond. That being said, don't make every text you send 3 words long. Respond in full sentences, just don't create a wall of text. But at the same time, using short text like, "Great, that's sad," won't get you anywhere. You've got to give him something to work with. Be moderate. Number 5. Take a second. Okay, you know I don't advocate playing games in dating, but this isn't really a game. It's more of a strategy that'll help you down the road. What happens if you text him back within seconds now, but a few weeks or months from now you lose interest and drag out the time between responses? He'll pick up on that immediately. Also, again, is the chase factor. If you respond too quickly, he'll feel like you're always available, and that'll take away the challenge. Another good rule of thumb is to pay attention to how quickly or slowly he is to respond to your texts. If he takes all day, you certainly don't need to reply to him within seconds, but if he's fast to respond, you can do the same. I don't have an example for this tip on how to text a guy to keep him interested. Just wait twice as long as you want to before you respond. Or put your phone across the room so you don't actually hear that he's texted you. Number 4. Show him you have a life. I know it seems silly that men would like it when you're unavailable, but don't underestimate the power of the chase. Make yourself too available and you might turn him off. But show him that you're a busy lady with lots going on and he'll want you even more. If you want to learn how to text a guy to keep him interested, let him know you're not always available. If you're headed out with friends, respond to his text but let him know you're walking out the door and that you'll check in later. Number 3. Mind the tone. One of the best ways to build a bond with a man you're dating is through witty banter. It balances the heavier conversations. What do you do? What are you looking for? Have you ever been married? And laughter is a great connector. In psychological studies, researchers found that men like women to be funny, especially at the start of a relationship. It indicates to them flirtatiousness and receptivity. Number 2. Don't complain. I know that the more time you spend with a man, the more comfortable you get with him. That means you'll open up more and more, and in general that's a great thing. However, this doesn't mean you should use it as an opportunity to vent or complain. The occasional, boy, it's hot out is no big deal. But don't moan about your boss, your kids, your life. There's a fine line between talking to someone about what's bothering you and simply complaining. Knowing the difference is important. If something's really eating you and you want to talk about it, save it for a phone conversation or an in-person meeting. Otherwise, you'll come off as a negative Nelly, and that's not sexy. Number 1. Never ever just text hi. As we said before, avoid short texts. I don't know when we started getting so lazy, but the hi text is by far the laziest possible option when it comes to texting. Sure, you're just trying to prod him to see if he's around and wants to text, but there are so many more creative ways to get his attention. Instead, give him a reason to respond. Here are a few examples. Hey good looking, how's your morning going? Holla cutie, been thinking of you all morning. What each of these examples does is A. let him know you're thinking about him, and B. give him something to respond to. The entire point of texting is to engage in conversation, so keep your goal in mind. Are you looking to make plans with him for tonight? Just catch up on your day? Have a more heartfelt conversation? Keep that goal in mind when you initiate a conversation. Examples. We're just going to give you a couple of examples. We don't want to go crazy with it, as texting should be a little spontaneous. Are you this charming in person? You can take a moment when the person you are texting is being kind of flirtatious or charming, and then send them a message that says, "Are you this charming in person?" It's cute, it's sweet. It also allows for that person to say, "Well, you have to let me know what you're up to this weekend." How have we not met in person yet? This is where you get to the point where you should have gone on the date already, but you still haven't met up. Simply send the message, "How have we not met in person yet?" It's not designed to be aggressive, it's actually designed to be playful. In conclusion, texting can be a fantastic platform for getting to know a guy you're dating, but pay attention to his behavior rather than putting all your focus on how to text him to keep him interested. Is he initiating a lot of your conversations? Does he reply quickly? Are his answers terse or more in-depth? Does he answer your questions? But don't just analyze his texts. Is he also making an effort to see you in person? If he's not, you have what amounts to a pen pal. If you're texting with no plans in sight, be a sexy, confident lady and ask him out. If he makes excuses, this guy has no intention of meeting you. He's in it to get his ego stroked by your amazing texts. Work on making your texts flirty and appealing, but don't rely on them solely to hold up your relationship. The longer you date, the more phone calls and meetups you should have. How do you keep a man interested via text? Share your tips in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Remember, you are love and you are loved. Please subscribe to keep updated on new videos. Feel free to ask any questions below in the comments.